Hello guys, this is session number 2 of me. My name is Alex, nice to meet you. Going through Apple's SwiftUI tutorial. I have never used SwiftUI in production code despite my 10 years of experience as an iOS developer. Many reasons for that, but mostly that when I switched to React Native, I didn't use SwiftUI. And now I'm catching up. So this is the second video for me just going through the SwiftUI tutorial by Apple. And we are here. So part 2 is called Building Lists and Navigation. So if you want to see what I was doing in part 1, just go and visit the link on my channel. And also, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to locate Xcode in my... Here we go. So this is where we were left last time with... Here we go. This is a content view for a landmark. Now let's go to Apple's tutorial, and I'm going to leave the link in the description as well. So in order to proceed with this tutorial, we would need to download files, specific files. I have already done this. I'm going to my downloads folder, and I'm going to drag and drop the things that I downloaded. And this is the landmarks data JSON file, and the images. So the images are going to be dragged and dropped as well into here. Here we go. Pretty good. We're ready. Okay. Before I continue, I would like to give a shout out to Marcelo Arteiro, who pointed out that the reason for the... It's about the previous video, that the reason for the overlay to accept a closure rather than just a parameter with a view is that because the overlay accepts the view builder. He was talking about closures though, but it's not just because it's just a simple closure, it's because it's a view builder. So it's a concept created by the developers of SwiftUI that absolutely was not there before in UIKit, obviously. So I get it. My point is that the usage is a little bit inconsistent because of that, but we will see. We will see, because I'm getting acquainted with SwiftUI. This is my second time working with SwiftUI, and I have some very positive feelings about it. So let's just continue. Let's go straight to the tutorial. What's happening there? So we needed to drag and drop the landmark data JSON file. We did this. Now let's go and create a new landmark object. Basically a type, which is a struct. Got some coffee in here. Sorry for slurping. I hope I'm not going to be doing this a lot. Okay, this is just a simple Swift file. We're going to name it a landmark, and this is going to be the first model file. So we need to mimic the contents of the items in our JSON file, as you can see here. So it has name, category, blah, blah, blah. So let's go back to the landmark, and let's define the struct and name it landmark, and and give it all of the properties that it's supposed to have. ID, which is integer, name, which is a string, and so on and so forth. So give me a sec. By the way, I would like to apologize for not editing this video because I'm a little bit busy and lazy at the same time, and this is a terrible combination for someone who is a YouTuber, but I'm not, so I don't really care. String. And description. Description is also a string. Okay, cool. So we have all of the properties of the landmark item. This is going to go into our model layer. Now, what they're suggesting, we're going to be importing SwiftUI here. So I personally, with so many years of experience as a tech lead and an iOS developer, is completely against putting anything UI related into the model layer. But for this specific example, we're just going to follow the tutorial. But just so you know, this is a bad way to do it. Image name is still good, but putting an actual image into model is a no-go in the production code, but we're not writing production code today. We're doing a tutorial. So we have now a computed property that's going to be an image, and this is a SwiftUI image. This is not a UIKit image. Now the next one is going to be a new struct, like a new struct that they suggest we define, which is called coordinates, and it's hashable and codable. So you see we define a struct within a struct. It's just like an internal type, latitude and longitude. This is usually the two parameters of coordinates in the world that we live in. And then just create a private property, which is called coordinates, and the type is coordinates as well. But this is not the end, because later they're suggesting that we should use the core location, import core location, the core location coordinates, and transform the coordinates that we have here into core location coordinates in just one single file. I mean, questionable approach in terms of software design, but nevertheless, we don't really care about this a lot. All right, sorry, I need to align my windows a little bit. Okay, good. What's next? Right, so this is a computed property, and it transforms the CL location coordinates, sorry, the coordinates that we have here into CL location coordinates. Coordinates, that's what I named it, wrong. Coordinates dot latitude and coordinates dot longitude. Why are we doing this? I mean, I guess there is a reason for that for the later part of the tutorial. I'm just going to follow and don't ask silly questions. I guess this is going to be used by the map view, and these are passed in the initializer. We'll see. The next one is we're going to create the model data file. Let's name it model data. So this file contains all the code that loads the objects from the JSON file. And since this is a SwiftUI tutorial and loading JSON objects is not actually the part of SwiftUI, even though the implementation is pretty neat, I'm just going to copy and paste this code because this is not the part of SwiftUI itself. Let's go next. Now, in the same file, we finally load our landmarks. So it's going to be an array of landmark objects. And by just simply calling load and passing the landmark data .js. Here we go. So now, after this code is, load requires to conform to decodable. Oh, okay, yeah, I get what's happening here. It's because landmark is not either hashable or codable, right? Codable, yes. We will need that. This was the problem. Let's go back. Here we go. Okay, amazing. So now this is a global variable. Extremely bad, but still, it's completely fine because this is just a tutorial. So we're not focusing on these things. We're focusing on how to use SwiftUI. And that means that we're just, shortcutting a lot of stuff that otherwise would be considered completely wrong for an actual development. But it's fine for the tutorial. Okay, these are now, we're going to be creating a new group. These are the models, right? These are the views, view, right? I wonder why this is happening. So after I moved the view, okay, let's try this. Yeah, that worked. Okay, now we just put stuff into different folders so we can differentiate between the models, the views, and this one is going to be a new group called resources. Just for the ease of finding what we want to find. Okay, so the next step in this tutorial is we're going to create the row view. Something that we used to call collection view cell is now just a simple view. So there are no collection view cells or collection views in SwiftUI anymore. At least so far, this is the impression that I've been given. And let's go and create this new view, which is going to be the row, just one single row, because now we're loading multiple locations, multiple landmarks. We need just a single row in this table that's going to represent the row. And I already know that SwiftUI operates not on tables, but on lists. This is going to be named landmark row. And obviously, the landmark row now is going to have a private, maybe not a private because it's going to go into initializer, right? Landmark property. So we declared landmark here. Oops. Now, obviously, saying it's missing an initializer, and I'm going to pass the first one. Oh, the name of the argument. Yeah, fair enough. Landmark, sorry. Okay, here we go. So now in this text, we're not obviously going to be saying hello world. We're going to be saying what? Landmark? Oh my god. Landmark dot name. SwiftUI test 2 quit unexpectedly. Click reopen. Huh. That's weird. Model data. Okay, I get this. So this is probably something with this. So it just cannot load landmark data JS because it's not a JS, it's a JSON. I didn't have to reload Xcode, it's JSON. Sure. Now everything's gonna be all right. Yes. Here we go, Turtle Rock. Okay, let's move on. So we've got this, we've got that, and now, yeah, let's wrap this into an H stack, which is something that is a short name for horizontal stack. And move on. All right, so the first part of the stack, and let's put the spacer here straight away so it's aligned. And on the left, there's going to be an image, and the image is the part of the landmark object image, and we got this. All right, so now we need to resize the image, and it's done by changing the frame. So many years ago, we used to create the elements by using their frames, the UI elements. Now we're back to frames again. And the height is 50 as well. And what we can see here is that the image hasn't changed at all. And that's because we are supposed to change the image stretching capabilities. So the image must become resizable, and bam, it does change its size. By the way, what's resizable? Let's check this out. I want to understand why it was. Oh, okay. Okay, you see why we just put resizable and it worked automatically because of the default values for the initializer. All the edge and sets, and the default mode of the resizing mode is .stretch, so we didn't have to really do anything. So I like that. Honestly, I like that a lot. The less code you write, the better. Now, we want to see different rows for this preview. So in order to do that, we would do something like, first of all, we could do something like this. I copy and paste this. Sorry. And yeah, and I put one here. So I want to see, and I can't see. Oh, look at this. Oh. So it created two different previews here for us. Let me stretch this. Landmark row here and landmark row here. And this one, yes, this one is different now. Pretty neat. I actually, wow, this is very nice because you can create two different previews for the same view and you can switch. I wonder how many, I guess you can create as many previews as you want, right? Let's just double check if that's the case. It is the case. Pretty neat. I'm not sure that I need this right now, but just knowing that that's an option gives me a lot of belief in myself. I'm just kidding. I don't know why I said that. Okay, this is not interesting. Let's go to actually building the list of landmarks. And in order to do that, we need to create a new view. We're creating a new view, and we're gonna call it landmark list. So I think so far, this is the biggest difference between the old school UI kit approach and SwiftUI, that the items are represented by a list view, which is actually very straightforward and very easy to understand. So we're going to create a list instead of a table view. And as we remember before, the landmark row is not a table view cell anymore. For those of you who haven't ever heard these words, don't mind. For those who are like myself, who have never coded in SwiftUI, people over 30, I guess, landmark row. And we pass landmark, and since the landmarks array is a global object, so we can just do this. Wow. I honestly think this is beautiful. This is it. Okay, so we can do bam, 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 and just bam, 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 bam. Oh, such a nice thing. Hey, and I know what to do with this because I watched a WWDC video, and there in the WWDC video, they say that instead of doing this, you create a for each instead of the list. And then, oh, wait. Yeah, I've created a list, but there should be something in the initializer. Like, how do I just simply, you know what I want to do something like this, right? So there should be something in the closure that I'm missing. There should be a parameter here. Maybe something like landmark in, right? But then I need to pass the list. Sorry, need to pass the landmarks in the initializer. Okay. Contextual closure expects 0 arguments. Oh, it expects 0 arguments. Okay, so I don't know the syntax, obviously. Well, since I don't know the syntax, I can go inside. This is what Xcode has been really bad at. Whenever there is an error in code, I just can't go to the declaration of the class or a struct in this specific example. So the initializer is a selection, which is a binding, and then a content builder selection value. No, you know what? I cannot just read this and understand straight away what I'm supposed to pass there. Not used to this yet. So, okay. First of all, I was completely right, but because the initializer, okay, I'm just copying the code right now. I'm going to explain this later. Is different now. So basically, I was right. Landmark in, and now we use the landmark row and just pass the landmark here. I mean, I was right in the direction of my thought, but I didn't know the syntax. Now I think I will remember it. So I just pass the landmarks array here. And something happens because it expects to have something of an ID. So instead of passing an identifiable object, a list of identifiable objects, I pass a list of objects that don't conform to the identifiable protocol, which is here in the model, right? And if I simply just make it conform to identifiable, I wonder if that's gonna work straight away. Landmark list. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so this part that I simply copied from the example was the if your object doesn't conform to the identifiable protocol and the list of those objects is passed to the list view, you have an option to create an ID for each of them. So as far as I understand, every single item should be having a unique ID, so this whole list view can work properly, which is pretty fine and reminds me about something similar in React. All right, so as simple as that, we've created a collection of all of them, and I am blown away. So it just takes just 2 lines of code, basically, to create a huge table view. Wow, really, really, really good. And I like that. It looks nice. It doesn't look ugly. It even looks nice. All right, let's go further and further and further. In this specific tutorial, and obviously what we would want next is when we tap on a line in this list, we would want to get to a detail view, which we have already created, which is called content view in our specific situation. So we would call it landmark detail. Landmark detail. And I think something should happen because Landmark's app, now there's no content view here, so we need to put landmark list here. So our app still loads. Okay, let's go to landmark list. And so landmark detail is this VStack, right? Now, our landmark detail should have a landmark. I think I'm going ahead of the tutorial, but I see where this is going. Right? Landmark. Now, oh, it's still called. I changed the name of the file, but I didn't change the name of the struct. Cool. Now we have this landmark detail view, and there's a lot of code. Yeah, not anymore. And we pass a landmark here, which is going to be landmark's 0th. Let's pass the 3rd just for the sake of diversity. Okay, so now the name is going to be not Turtle Rock, but landmark.name. The state is going to be landmark.state, which is Montana for this one specifically. Then the image, where's the image? Is going to, oh, we would need to pass landmark to the circle image as well, by the way. So let's do this later. Now, about Turtle Rock is gonna change to about landmark.name. Very nice. And the description is gonna be landmark description. Honestly, we should have done this from the very beginning, but you know, I get it, because this is a tutorial, so we need to go from step 1 to step 2 and modify the the code as we work on it to make it more complicated, I guess, and pass data around. Okay. Now, oh yeah, here, landmark dot park. Yes. So now there's no static information in the landmark detail view. We only have the information that is derived from the landmark variable here. Okay, let's go back to the circle image as well, and we are gonna pass the image as a parameter, and then just do image dot everything else, and image is gonna be landmarks 0th dot image. It's not working for some reason. By the way, I don't know why. Okay, let's check this out. Was it saying? Oh, yeah, it's not working in a different place, not here. So if I pass 3, it's supposed to change. No, it's not changing. Let's go and see where the problem is. We still have landmark detail. Okay. So it seems to me, this is what I'm discovering right now, it seems to me that SwiftUI doesn't load a preview if there is an error somewhere else. Is this correct? I don't know. Write down in comments if you will, if you wish. And I need to pass the image, and it's going to be landmark.image. Oh, this is beautiful. Let's go back to circle image, and now it's working. Because yeah, this is I think this is a weird behavior. Something that I wouldn't expect from SwiftUI, but I would definitely expect this from Xcode. Those who know, they know. Okay, I'm pretty stoked right now to see that it works so remarkably well. I'm talking about this and landmark detail. Just as easy as that. I mean, for sure, SwiftUI is easy as hell, with only one exception, that the syntax, of course, is just something you need to get used to. But the amount of time you spend on this is ridiculously small. Okay, let's go back to the landmark list. And landmark list will be wrapped in something that is called navigation split view. And I have never used anything like this before. Navigation split view. We need to pass a detail here, which is text. And the text is gonna say hi for now, because I need to understand where this text goes. So this text doesn't go anywhere, because I guess the navigation split view is something like the navigation controller from the previous generation of UI building in iOS. And this is a title of the current screen, and we cannot see the title because it is not yet put in the navigation controller, so to speak. So let's go further and see what they're suggesting with SwiftUI tutorial is suggesting to create. By the way, I shouldn't have renamed content view. I should have created a new view, but now I'm going to recreate content view. Content view. The body of content view is going to be landmark list. Here we go, and content view is the main view, is still the main view of our app. Oops, I didn't want to do that. Okay, cool. Now, so what they're suggesting, so we do this for the landmark list, we have already done this, and then we go and somehow, okay, so I was wrong. I admit that. So I said before that we cannot see this hi because this was the title of the view, but it wasn't. Detail is not a title of the view. It's something else. Let's check what it is. Detail, the view to show in the detail area. Oh, I see. So I guess when I click on this, it's going to show a view and it's going to say hi. All right? It's not working, by the way. It's not clickable. I wonder why. We will figure this out a little bit later. Okay, navigation split view has a wrapper. Sorry, not a wrapper. How do you call this? Modifier. Has a modifier called navigation title, and navigation title is going to be landmarks. So I think I've done something wrong because it's not loading the way out. Yes, here we go. Okay, but still it's not tappable still. But okay, all right. Yes. Awesome. As easy as that. Super cool. So where does this detail go? I see now. So indeed, this detail goes somewhere else. But so the landmark row should be wrapped now into this special view called navigation link. And navigation link, I think, is this interesting view that accepts the label. Yeah, here we go. But the difference is that right now, it doesn't say hi still. What is this detail about? Write down in comments what this detail is about. Well, obviously, I will figure this out in a couple of minutes, so bear with me. All right, so the landmark detail object is going to be here. Yeah, I know. Need to pass a landmark here. Landmark. Okay, here we go. Bam, 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 bam. I love this. Super nice. I still don't have any highs in there. There's no high. I wrote a high here. I was following the tutorial, but, well, actually the tutorial said select a landmark, and I still cannot see this. I still cannot see this. Can you see this label somewhere? I can't. It's fine. It's not the main purpose of this video anyway. Okay, let's go further. This one is actually pretty long. Okay. Oh, this is what we forgot. Completely forgot that the map view should show different coordinates, right? Now, we should set the coordinate, say a location coordinate, to the property. I'm just gonna copy paste here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna be using this. I'm gonna use the landmarks array, and there's gonna be coordinates. Landmarks 0th coordinates. No, it doesn't like it. Is inaccessible due to private. Okay, so how do we pass that? Oh my, okay. There's a little bit of a problem here because it slows down the whole thing. But it's fine, it's fine. Okay, it's not liking it anyway. Oh, now we know why. Now we know. Because something else is not being built. And something else is not being built because the map view is created somewhere without passing a certain parameter, which is the coordinate. So how does landmark detail? Sorry, I was looking into the code that developer.apple.com provided. Okay, so it's just a different property. It's not coordinates, it's location. Okay, good. Still wrong because it doesn't have this coordinate. Landmark location coordinate. Okay, so every single time we go to a new detail screen, we're gonna get a different location on the map. I agree with this one, but also we need to go to map view and kind of make some changes there. First of all, the MK coordinate region is now created differently. Is it or not? I don't know. Center is the coordinate. Okay, cool. And now here I can test. I can write landmark 0 dot location coordinate, right? Or another preview, landmark first location coordinate. And I'm gonna switch between them, and it's showing different locations. Good, so it's working. Cool. Let's go back to the tutorial. Okay, we're slowing down a little bit. I'm noticing it, so bear with me. Now, circle image, blah, blah, blah. We've done all that. Now, finally, if we go to landmark detail, we wrap all of this. Instead of wrapping this all in a VStack, they are suggesting we're wrapping it in a scroll view. And why? Interesting. I kind of like this a lot, to be honest. So the reason for this is when we're using a VStack and we go back to the landmark list and we use the interactive preview and we go here and we see that the text is truncated because this is not scrollable. So if we go back to the detail view and change this from the VStack to scroll view. Okay, so this is now scrollable. And we will also set the navigation title for scroll view. So navigation title is a modifier for scroll view. I wonder what it can modify as well. Landmark name. Obviously, we cannot see it here because the only way to see it is to go to landmark list and tap on it, and finally Turtle Rock is here. And still, I don't understand where select the landmark goes. I guess this is for iPad. Do we switch between iPhone and iPad here? Okay, this is going to take a lot of time, I guess, for loading this. So let's go back for now to landmark detail and finish. Yeah, looks good. And finish it by saying that navigation bar title display mode is inline. Navigation bar title display mode is inline. Whatever that means, because I don't know what that means. Let's look this up. So this is how I do it. Whenever I don't understand what something means, I just look it up in the documentation. Display the title within the standard bounds of the navigation bar. So automatic displays, okay, it inherits, and large title display mode. Okay. Inline is good for me. Select a landmark. Okay, finally, there's something. Finally, select a landmark has appeared. Oh, so this is like a default. Oh, this is a default state when nothing is selected. And I go here and I start selecting different landmarks, and all the text, all the description text is the same because this is how. Oh yeah, and by the way, what I see here is that the location isn't changed at all. So this is something, there is a bug somewhere that we need to fix. I go back to iPhone, and okay guys, we've got a problem. We are opening the same location. Oh no, we're not. So I guess it was a bug on iPad, and it was really the SwiftUI bug on iPad that it was opening the same map view for every screen. Okay guys, to be honest, I think there's something left in the tutorial. What is it? Generating previews dynamically. Let me check what that entails. I don't really think there is any code that we are supposed to write anymore. So this is it. We're done with the second part of the tutorial by Apple, and I was performing it in real time, seeing it for the first time in my life, but I have already performed the first tutorial, and I've seen some videos on WWDC. So there's this balance where I was able to pick up some things, and I was able also to make some mistakes as I was learning SwiftUI in Xcode. And this is the end of this session. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good coding, have a good life, have a good drink, have a good goodbye.